Hey, DEXTools and Kima community, we have a huge AMA today. Before we get started, could you introduce yourself and your background?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having us today. My name is Tomer. I'm the CMO of Kima Network. A little bit about myself and my background. I'm a 25 years digital marketeer. I'm like a dinosaur in the industry. All days of before it was called Web 1, we didn't know that there will be number 2 and 3 now. Um, had a few startups of my own, background in cybersecurity. Three of my startups completely crushed me financially, and I destroyed everything I managed to achieve in life. And then the two afterwards, I managed to have successful exits in, and sold them both. Decided to become an angel investor afterwards, and for the last 12 years, I've been an angel investor in the industry. Also a strategic advisor since 2019, exclusively only crypto. Before that, invested in e-commerce and social media solutions and ed tech. Active in the industry since 2016-17, and doing it exclusively 24/7 as an investor, advisor, and a job since 2019. Also writing to Forbes and Cointelegraph about the innovative DeFi and GameFi industry and blockchain infrastructure. And looking forward to tell you all about Kima, which is, I think, the most amazing project I got the chance to work in and with to date.
Wow, very impressive, Tomer. So let's jump right into Kima. Can you explain what Kima is and what you guys are hoping to achieve?
Of course. Then Kima is an Interoperability 2.0 solution. Kima is very unique in its nature. It is an interoperability communication protocol that operates with no smart contracts, no liquidity, and actually has no users, um, which is very unique. I will explain exactly how we work. But we're a blockchain that manages assets on all other blockchains. We're basically connected to all of them. And we have a very unique feature, which we're the only ones having, and is the ability to connect centralized entities through an API and an SDK to any blockchain, to the decentralized world in a completely decentralized manner
Wow,
with no intermediaries. Um, this is Schema from a bird's eye view.
amazing. So can you introduce the team and who is behind all the great work at Kima?
Yes, of course. Our founder is Eitan Katz. He's co-founder and CEO of Kima. He was part of the team that created Project Aegis in 2013, 2014. It was the first cold wallet in the world back in the day for Bitcoin. Coming also from technological background, of course. Managed the accelerators, if I'm not mistaken, the accelerator of HP, and managed the funds for BMC. And Kima was his vision. It was since the early first, when Bitcoin just appeared, first Bitcoin he was around in the industry, and his vision was to enable liquidity to be used on any chain from all chains at once. That's how Kima solution started,
Yeah.
by finding out that it's going to be very, very risky to use bridges and rely on them to manage the liquidity. And that's how Kima was born. There's Tsahi Kanza, also a serial entrepreneur. He's our CEO, co-founder and CEO and COO, excuse me, co-founder and COO. Manages also a VC fund, I think even two VC funds. Is the head of syndicate at the Syndica. We're providing Web3 solutions also. And we have a guy who is our CTO, been doing tech for dozens of years now, and has been around in decentralized worlds since ever. Brian Benson, our Chief Strategy Officer, ex Binance Latam Director, like Latin America CEO. Is doing all of the strategy in the company and business development. We have Wael, who is also is our VP R&D. is managing all the tech. Ex-MIT, building Web3 solutions for banks for since ever, even before people knew that banks were exploring it. He was already building for them decentralized ecosystems. And my humble self, being a CMO. This is the core team. That's it. We're about 30 now in Kima, building this amazing network.
You guys have a stacked team, I gotta say. Also, you guys have built an amazing technology. I kind of want to understand Kima a little bit more. So could you provide some real-world applications that could benefit from Kima's interoperability solutions?
Of course. So first, I would like to explain how Kima works, so you guys can better understand how we can basically do stuff in the real world, actual usage that no one else can. So at the moment, all of the interoperability solutions out there are relying on smart contracts or oracles.
Yeah.
Both of them are basically software. Coming from a cybersecurity background, there's a rule that says if someone wrote it, I can hack it. It means if one person created a maze, there's someone who will be able to find a way out of that maze in one way or another. It's basically a riddle. Someone can find a solution. Any software on Earth will eventually be hacked and exploited. And that's why we're always releasing fixes, hot fixes, updates, et cetera, for every app you're using, every operating system you're using, and everything that we're using today, fixing bugs. So if I want to send 100 USDC from Solana to Ethereum, the procedure will be as follows. Then $100 reach to Solana smart contract, USDC, and then it initiates a smart contract transaction on Ethereum. 100 USDC on Ethereum are being sent to your wallet. This is the operation today. If I'm managing to find a way to trick, let's say, that side of the bridge by using the first signature after I sent you first time 100 USDC over and over again, I'm basically going to drain the bridge, right? Yeah. Going to drain all of the liquidity and steal all the money. Or if I'm able to blind the oracle in some way, I will be able to steal the money.
Yeah.
That's basically how everything operates today. And in order to resolve it, we've created Kima as a bridgeless bridge. It's basically a solution with no smart contracts that enables transfer of any asset. So Kima works in a different way. Bridges are working from above. We will be working from below, to explain. So in Kima, there are no smart contracts. There are only validator nodes. These validators are the ones who are responsible to initiate transactions, how they do it. So I'm going to send the same 100 USDC from Solana to Ethereum.
Yeah.
So sending 100 USDC from Solana, the smart contract on Solana receives 100 USDC. He is not transferring anything. He's not initiating any transaction. What he does, he's connected to a Kima relay. You can say that it's something like a connector that connects Solana to the Kima network below. On every blockchain network, Kima is now creating these connectors, these relays, who enable all of the dApps on these blockchains to communicate with Kima's network. Imagine that it's like taking an Ethernet cable and stucking it into the socket, and you're connected to the internet. Works the same. Then the smart contract now receives 100 USDC. Being a Kima dApp connected to Kima is sending a message, a note, if you may, to the relay. The message is now sent down to the Kima network. The message says, I received 100 USDC on this transaction. I need to send 100 USDC to this address on Ethereum. The message is received by the relay, and the relay now sends it to the Kima network. Now, something very magical is happening now. Remember, no smart contracts. So the validators now are basically looking, the validators themselves are going to Solana to see physically that 100 USDC have
Yeah.
successfully and safely arrived in that address. 2/3 of the validator nodes need to physically see that the money is indeed there. Once they verify that the money has arrived, a magic trick happens. Each validator node has a shard of an MPC wallet on each one of the chains that Kima is connected to. Each validator node now is revealing the shard stored on its CPU core, decoding it and releasing the shard. These shards from the validators are creating the MPC wallet access, forming up the needed seed phrases, and sending 100 USDC to the Ethereum address. So the process has three theoretically unhackable things happening in it. One, we did not use any smart contract for the transaction. We sent a message. You cannot steal something that doesn't exist. I'm not sending any asset with it. The asset arrived or did not arrive on Solana, it's up to them. The hacker can try forever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he did, a message will arrive, and then the network, not a smart contract, the validators need to confirm that it has arrived. Once they do, so the validators have to physically see it, theoretically unhackable. You cannot blind all of the validator nodes at the same time to see something that doesn't exist. Theoretically unhackable. Then 3, each validator node has a shard of that MPC wallet. You theoretically cannot hack to all of them, decrypt all of them, and then go to the MPC wallet and transfer the funds. So this is the unique process from above of how we operate. Now, I explained it because you asked about real usages of Kima. Now, Kima does something very, very interesting. We have no smart contract, which means that we have no computation process, right? Our step happened in the speed of light, like this video call. The only latency was in the Solana side and Ethereum side to resolve the transaction, to finalize it. Now, when we did it, we enabled something unique. We enabled SDKs and APIs to exist because, again, no smart contracts. By that, we created a unique API and an SDK that enables any centralized entity to connect to any blockchain through Kima. We are just the communication channel.
Yeah.
You can think of Kima as the fiber optics, these huge fiber optic pipes that are running under the oceans and connecting continents. No one knows that they exist, but we're all using the internet through them. You guys know your internet providers, you know, Vodafone, maybe it's T-Mobile, whoever that is, that provides for you, being your ISP, your internet service provider. You don't know who the company that owns these fiber optic huge pipes under the oceans, but we're all users of these fiber optics. So when every network is connected now to Kima, all of the dApps on that network can now operate with any dApp on any network without having to move anywhere. You do not need to create smart contracts that you need to move your assets and transfer your liquidity and move it and migrate, nothing. You're connecting to Kima, and Kima does the other side on the other operation. Then by that, we're creating the most secure ever operation, the unhackable solution to bridgelessly bridge any asset from any network to any network. We're actually enabling the facilitation of RWA transactions. Everybody now is speaking about RWAs, but RWAs are real world assets. They're coming from the centralized world, right? Everybody is speaking about RWA, but no one thinks about how the hell do I bring them to Ethereum? How the hell do I bring them to Solana? how do I liquidate it and how do I redeem it?
Yeah.
The only way to do so today is with Kima. Else you need an intermediary and a custodian to hold them for you, right? And he will redeem and he will take the opportunity and you will pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only ones who are able to directly connect you. Then imagine that you can move any token to any network as long as it's someone provided, of course, a wrapped or synthetic asset of it on the other side, without mint and burn, without actually wrapping anything, and without burning anything to redeem. Only ones on Earth. Imagine that as a Robinhood user, if Robinhood would connect to Kima, then Robinhood, as a user, you would potentially able to directly connect your Solana, your Ethereum, your Polygon wallet, your Optimism wallet, whatever you want. And you can use, imagine, ETH to buy Apple stocks directly, no intermediaries, in seconds. Instead of paying with dollars, you will be paying with any token you want. You can pay with meme coins, as long as we care, to buy Tesla stocks. You can technically create even something that does not only relate on finance, which is something very unique because most of this industry, if you look at it, is basically about money and moving money and how to invest money and how to make money. But you asked about real world usages. Imagine that as an influencer, you are an influencer, you are a KOL. As a KOL, if you would like, let's say from your channel, to allow that every time that someone says to ETH with a link to a tweet, your Twitter will automatically retweet it. It's an example for a Kima dApp. Then on one side, you will be sending to ETH with the link. The Kima network will receive. Kima network will initiate a Twitter API call to retweet that link through your account. This is something that only Kima is able to do. Now, of course, there's limitless opportunities for it. Imagine the DHL connecting now to Ethereum. Then you say that when you're getting your new PlayStation 5, only then release to ETH to the seller. So someone will be holding the 2 ETH as a custodial. And the moment that the product arrives, gets confirmation from DHL's API, the Kima network will release the funds. This is something completely unique and innovative. We're basically enabling the actual usage of Web 2 and Web 3, their centralized world and the decentralized world, for the first time to operate in a completely decentralized manner. It's reinventing everything here from the start. We're making it usable, not only for nerds like us who have been here since forever and know how to do it, but by enabling actual products to pass the grandma test, as we call it. Back in the day, we used to call products, the grandma test. If your grandmother can use it, everyone can use it. By using Kima as a communication protocol, you can build anything you can think of between these two ecosystems.
Wow, thank you for
I
painting.
hope it explains.
Painted a really great image, overall image of Kima and all the real world usages and many possibilities.
And one point that I forgot, excuse me.
Yeah, no problem.
We're not competing with anyone, guys. We're not competing with anyone. There's no competition. So Kima is completely agnostic to the blockchain technology now and in the future due to our unique nature. We're completely agnostic to the digital asset class. We don't care now and in the future. It's like a timeless solution. And we're not competing with any other interoperability solution because we are providing a solution that upgrades the existing solutions. But you cannot even say upgrade, but enabling features who are unable for these to do today. Imagine that it's like the industry back in the day, to all the guys in the audience and the ladies probably remember, but back in the day that Nokia used to have Nokia Symbian, remember? And Sony Ericsson used Symbian, Palm used Palm OS, Windows Mobile was used by the Pocket PCs, BlackBerry used BlackBerry OS, and then Google came out with Android. This is us. We're not replacing the phone manufacturer, but we are enabling a solution that will be able to onboard everyone into this amazing industry, exactly like Android enabled any grandmother to use smartphones.
Wow. Yeah, the possibilities
Excuse
are
me for
unlimited.
cutting you.
The possibilities are unlimited. And as you mentioned, the grammar test, I see myself as a experienced DeFi user. I have to use bridges almost once or twice every couple of days. And it's definitely a turnoff and a barrier to entry where somebody doesn't know how to use a bridge. You guys have literally built a game changer. Wow. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing how
Thank you.
it'll be used in the everyday to day basis. So I wanted to talk about more the interoperability landscape. It's gained a lot of traction. How does Kima position itself against other blockchain solutions currently available in the market? I know you said you guys are one of a kind, there's no competition, but what's your take on that?
Yeah. Then, well, this would be an easy one. As I explained before, we're basically not using any smart contracts.
Yeah.
So no one can steal your money. Now, I'm personally also, a yield hunter.
Hmm.
When you have stables, the money sitting there, you want to generate yield.
Yeah.
If I'm locking it now in a smart contract, so basically I know that there is a risk that someone will come to that bridge or to that protocol or whatever, and will basically be able to exploit it and steal the money, right? This is the risk. We hear about bridges being hacked all the time, protocols are being hacked all the time. It happens all around us. Now,
Yeah.
imagine that in Kima, if you provide your stablecoins for liquidity, the money doesn't go anywhere. It sits on an MPC wallet, a simple wallet. No one can hack that smart contract. Then it's the safest ever way to generate yield without having to risk your funds in any smart contract, any software. Basically, to hack to it, someone will have to hack to the MPC wallet, and hack all of the Kima network, of course, and all of the shards stored on all of the validators. It will be easier to probably just hack to Coinbase, Binance, or Kraken than stealing ours. We're faster, cheaper, of course, and safer than any other solution. And we're not competing, but inviting everyone to use our communication protocol in order to upgrade, enhance, or even replace their existing solutions for interoperability.
I love it. And as you mentioned with bridges, it's not if, it's more a when they'll be exploited. We've seen pretty much
Correct.
every major bridge exploited. So as a user, you really need to watch out where you park your funds or what bridges you're using. And as I mentioned, you guys have really built a game changer. So looking forward to actually getting to try it out and use it in the everyday. Yeah. So can you dive into the utility of Kima?
Yeah, then spoke a little bit about the network that it operates. Now, remember these fiber optics running under the ocean? So no one actually knows that he's a user of Kima, right? Because Kima is basically the communication, the pipe.
Yeah.
So every dApp that is connected to Kima or any app on the centralized world that is connected to Kima, its users are using Kima's network in order to operate
Yeah.
in this ecosystem of ours, cross ecosystems. All of the users of that same dApp or app are becoming instantly Kima users without having to know what Kima is. And every time that a transaction going through the network, tiny fraction of Kima is being bought in order to pay for the transaction. You do not even feel it, you do not even see it, but it happens on the background, right? So we're all paying for it, fractions that you don't even know that are there, without even knowing that they will exist. So we're basically planning to win the battle with not even one single drop of blood being dropped, because we're not calling anyone to migrate to our network. like any blockchains. Blockchains at the moment are fighting between each other. They're doomed to kill each other, to fight over protocols, over users, over transaction volume, over TVL. They're forced to be gladiators 24/7. We're coming and telling them, listen, guys, you don't need anyone to go anywhere. Stop stealing from each other, users, TVL, etc. You don't need to do it. And to the dApps, we're telling, enjoy all the benefit that Solana has to offer you for whatever you need to do on it while staying on Polygon. Use your Bitcoin, leave it on Bitcoin. You don't need to wrap anything in order to stake ETH on Eigenlayer. You use your BTC on Bitcoin, it doesn't go anywhere, to stake ETH on Eigenlayer. It's crazy. Now, the utility is then to pay gas prices. And of course, we're a proof of stake network. So if you want to operate a node, of course, you need to stake Kima tokens. So the demand will always be there as more protocols are, more dApps are connecting to the Kima network for interoperability solutions and needs.
Amazing. Your answers are very well detailed, and I love your analogies. So what blockchains does Kima currently offer? And are there plans to extend Kima's integrations, more L1s, L2s?
Yes, of course. Of course. Great question. So at the moment, we connected to the 10 biggest ones. You all know their names. Basically EVM compatible, but also uniquely connected to Tron, connected to Solana and Bitcoin. So we're not only doing EVMs, we're also know how to speak to non-EVMs. Very, very unique to the Kima network. And it takes for us to any EVM-based network, let's say about 2 days now with our current manpower to connect and test and everything, that everything works well. And let's say to the others, according to the technology being used, it can take, let's say, about 3 days to 3 weeks to the hardest solutions. That's basically what we're doing now. We're onboarding more manpower and we're connecting to more and more networks according to the demand and according to the needs and the popularity of networks. We will keep connecting networks. Technically, we can now connect to anything. It's just a matter of priorities and enabling us to reach the successful launch with our mainnet on time, which I forgot to say, we're at the moment at testnet, already final stages. MasterCard is one of our main backers through FinSec Innovation Labs, owned by MasterCard. And FinSec Innovation Labs are already running nodes. So MasterCard's FinSec Innovation Labs is actively participating in our testnet now, and of course in the mainnet. I will be happy to share links so you can try it on your own. Already almost reaching on this version of the testnet to 1 million transactions. And I think it's about 2 months old. So going very well.
Amazing. I don't think people understand what you guys are cooking. It's such an amazing product. I want to thank you for being here and really explaining, what you guys are doing. So thank you. And you intrigued me when you said no smart contracts. So how does Kima ensure security without relying on smart contracts or external relayers?
Great. So by the unique nature of the network, by connecting to our unique Kima relays, we're able to receive and execute and see, get visibility of anything that happens on any network. And by the unique process that I explained, we are enabling the existence of smart contractless and bridgeless operation, and to operate without any oracles and without the need to any smart contracts. We're basically, any smart contract now is managing assets on blockchains. At the moment, blockchains are managed, the assets on them are managed by smart contracts. The uniqueness of Kima that we are a blockchain that manages assets on all the rest. Very unique, and I hope that answers and explains.
Of course. And as you mentioned, you're looking for the best yields. I myself am guilty as that too. So when I'm finding these platforms, I think one of the largest risks is smart contract risks, and you guys remove that and a bunch of other things. So I wanted to dive deeper into the Warden Committee. What measures are in place to prevent collusion or malicious behavior within the Warden committee? I mean.
Kima Network takes security very seriously and has implemented strong measures to ensure its network remains secure and trustworthy. Initially, validators, those responsible for verifying and processing transactions, are carefully selected and permitted to join the network through a strict whitelisting process. This control helps prevent collusion and other security risks. Notably, well-known and reputable organizations like MasterCard's FinTech Innovation Lab are among the validators, which increases trust as these entities are less likely to participate in harmful activities. We're in these days also onboarding some of the biggest communication companies around the world to operate the same nodes. Moreover, Kima enhances security using a technique called threshold signature scheme, TSS, which breaks up security key into parts and stores them securely using Intel's SGS technology. This technology provides an additional layer of protection by enclosing the key parts in a secure environment that is extremely difficult for hackers to access. To breach the system, a hacker would typically need both physical access to the hardware and advanced technical skills. It makes it, for unauthorized access, highly challenging. This method greatly reduces the risk of collusion or hostile takeovers of the network and ensures robust and secure platform. I hope it was explained well enough.
Of course, when you're getting into the cryptocurrency market, a lot of the odds are stacked up against us. So it's great to know that you guys have figured out the security aspect of it, and it's almost impossible for hackers to get through. And I've been thinking about this from the start almost, and I wanted to ask, how does Kima synchronize liquidity pools across different layer one blockchains without resorting to token wrapping?
Oh, okay. We'll try to explain it in a few simple steps. Another good question. I hope I will be able to explain it properly. So, Kima achieves synchronization of liquidity pools across different layer one blockchains through a dual step process. One, we're using a technique known as cross-chain atomic swaps. And two, rebalancing process that uses financial incentives. This two-pronged method allows users to exchange assets directly between different blockchains without the need for a trusted intermediary or token wrapping. Here's how it actually works. An app invokes a Kima transaction, which triggers the following steps. First step, asset deposit. A user releases an asset on the source blockchain and approving a deposit into an EOA managed by the Kima blockchain itself. It's not managed by Kima, it's managed by the blockchain. This action generates cryptographic proof that the assets are deposited and cannot be spent elsewhere, eliminating double spending risk. Two, the settlement process. Using the proof generated in step one, an equivalent amount of asset is withdrawn from Kima managed DOA on the other target blockchain. And this step includes a signature using TSS and cryptographic proof of the transfer. Once finally it's reached, the transfer is complete. Now to the rebalancing stage. Both the deposit and the withdraw change the liquidity levels of the EOAs on both sides. Kima's liquidity management algorithm adjusts the rewards offered to liquidity providers and incentivizes adding liquidity to address predicted demand, hence balancing supply and demand. So if I need to simplify it, imagine that once we predict what is going to happen to the pools and the liquidity and where demand is going to be coming from, we're rebalancing the pools exactly like Uber, if you may, is incentivizing drivers where you have more demand to reach to these parts by paying them higher fees. We're doing exactly the same with yield. Wherever we see that there's more demand, we have a unique algorithm driven by AI developed by the project for the last 2 years called Lima. You can read more about it in our white paper. That is basically rebalancing the liquidity and makes sure that according to demand, you will use your liquidity as a liquidity provider in the best possible way to generate maximum yield. And as a user, being the end user or the DApp itself or the centralized DApp, will be getting access to liquidity in the best possible manner.
Totally understood. And there are so many different wrap token options, and we've seen what happens when they depeg. So I'm glad that you guys just didn't offer more, wrap token solutions, but actually made a technology to solve this. So what do you see as the most significant challenges facing blockchain interoperability in the near future? And how does Kima plan to address these challenges?
Oh, wow. So, well, probably the most challenging thing is the fact that innovation attracts money.
Yeah.
Money attracts a lot of bad players into an ecosystem. So if I need to summarize it, the fact that bad players and of course more people who are rushing for the gold, not always bad players, but we see blockchains that appear every few minutes. There's a new layer 1, layer 2 on top of a layer 2, a layer 3, and whatever solutions that are trying to raise funds by selling their tokens and promising better time to finality, better mechanism, unique solution, etc., etc., etc. All of these are not actually working hard to onboard the next 1 billion users to this Web3 and just make it the web. They're more focused on removing liquidity, users, and protocol from each other, as I explained before. So if I'm looking at challenges in the interoperability industry and as a whole in the Web3 industry, I would say that unity is the main problem that we're facing now in Web3. It started as something innovative to decentralize, power to the people, Bitcoin. We do not rely on any bank. We do not rely on the rich and the big players. We have the power. And then it became basically an industry of a gold rush where everybody started to fight against each other with marketing tricks and with all kind of different shticks and other ways to attract more liquidity to sell tokens. Kima is here to unite all of the decentralized and all of the centralized. The main problem is that we are not working together. We're not united. Kima is uniting all of these entities together, whether they like it or not. You cannot stop Kima. We're in decentralized realms, and it's a decentralized protocol. So, like it or not, if we will be on that chain, and the developer on your chain will be able to choose if they decide to stay on your chain for the great benefits that you're offering them and to use some benefits offered on another chain for some kind of a specific use while keeping the users here, or to move to another chain. But the incentive will not be the grunts. It will not be the dog eat dog industry we live in today. And these gladiator battles will cease to exist. And we will all be able to onboard the next 1 billion users and finally make this Web3 the new web, and then just the web, like Web2 became the internet. And unifying and working for this cause together, which is at the moment the biggest obstacle we're facing.
I couldn't agree more with you where you mentioned the L1s and L2s just fighting for the TVL and users and the dApps, where they're just kind of fighting for the same users. And you have people like yourselves who built this amazing technology and product that is actually and will
Thank
actually
you.
serve millions and billions of people. So, what are some upcoming features, enhancements, or even major milestone goals for Kima right now? What are you guys working on?
I will reveal a few things that we've achieved lately. So you guys already know that we have MasterCard's FinTech Innovation Labs. We signed an MOU. Now, recently, we're starting to work. Everything's signed and done with Red Belly. Red Belly is a project that is supported by Australian government and provides various solutions, probably naturally to these, providing all kind of real world uses on chain for various entities, and Kima is destined to become their crypto payment rail solution. We have already launched with Monabit, a MasterCard solution in Latin America. So already cards are people are walking around with credit cards, or basically doing direct liquidation of assets on chain with no intermediaries through these. We are working to get the first direct, I call it crypto direct card project we're working on to get done with MasterCard as a unique pilot with them. And many new and interesting innovations are about to come to the Web3 world that are now being built utilizing Kima's unique features. Some of them I even hinted about in this call. And we're working full force ahead to reach the successful TGE, to launch our token, move to mainnet, Genesis, and then IDO and listings. That's our next stage. Working very hard to get it done. We hope that the market conditions will not limit us and will stop us from doing so. At the moment, we're aiming for June, but I can already tell you that we are a little bit cautious with it. You know, there's one chance for a first impression, and you only have one chance to launch a token. You can't launch the same token twice. And being, you know, technology built for so many years, the project is being developed for the last about 2.5, 3 years already, with some of the brightest minds. Did not mention all the team, by the way. 3 cryptography university professors are actively working and building Kima with us. Actually, they're also managing blockchain research institutions in these universities. So they're part of the team. Then we're very, very cautious with when to launch, but stay tuned on our social channels. We reached 1 million members across all our channels combined. Of course, not all of them unique. Some of them are across the same user on the same platform, but 1 million is a big number
It's huge.
that we reached to. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Wow, you guys are totally hitting it out of the park. And you could sign me up for one of those crypto credit cards. I'm really looking forward to having one of those. So, first of all, I've learned a ton in this AMA, Tomer. Glad to have you guys here. For people that are watching and want to get involved in Kima, how can they support the project? Are there any upcoming dates? I know you mentioned the TGE potentially in June. That's very important to time it correctly, not wait too long, not rush it out. So I love that you guys have a plan around that. What are some upcoming dates people can look out for? How can they support Kima?
So as for the dates, And now to support. We're launching with 3 launchpads. Initially, we're exclusive on one. We're incubated by ChangeGPT. We're priding ourselves by being incubated by ChangeGPT, as you know, is one of the top 3 launchpads at the moment. Incubated by them, and of course, biggest launch is going to be on ChangeGPT. We're also launching on Ape Terminal and on Polka Starter. So all of these communities will have access to get Kima tokens. We have a huge airdrop activity happening at the moment. You can participate in our airdrop campaign. It's not only to do stupid operations on our testnet like monkeys. It's actually to learn about Kima and the solution, to engage with the community, and to become part of it. We're managing communities in, I think, now about 10 languages.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can find Kima professional mode in each and every one of them. You can join our main Telegram channel and then join each of our Discord or Telegram local channels and learn more about Kima, become part of the community, become an active developer. We also have a grant program where we're offering 90,000 Kima tokens to developers who would like to build using Kima. Again, I mentioned you do not need to go anywhere. So if your app is on Solana, on Polygon, on Ethereum, wherever it is, you're not going anywhere. You're just integrating Kima into it, and then you will be able to connect to all the rest. You don't need to go anywhere, guys. Your dApp, your liquidity, your tokens stays exactly where it is. You just need to connect the existing dApp to the Kima network and then do whatever you want on the other side, whichever that side may be. It can be any other decentralized network and even any centralized app out there in the centralized world. Yeah, looking forward to see you guys.
Amazing. You guys heard it here first. Make sure to join the community. Make sure to support Kima. They just hit 1 million. Let's get them to 10 million. And love everything you've shared. So this is the last question. What do you think about DEXTools and the future of DeFi?
Well, I think, we're kind of done here. We've been using DEXTools since forever ourselves. There's always at least one screen, that is open on DEXTools, at least one. I'm also a trader for the last 12 years, trading stocks and crypto assets. Then there's always one opened on DEXTools. Well, it's a huge honor for us to be supported by such an amazing, huge industry player like you guys, by DEXTools, by DEXT Force. You guys are amazing. What else can I say on DEXTools that people don't know? Well, you're already the best. You guys kind of won. You keep on winning and you keep on attracting more and more to you. Coming from experience that everybody wants to get a hold on a meeting with you guys to chat and maybe to get support from you in one way or another. Then we love you guys. We're great users. We're token holders. You had us at hello, as we say. And for the future of DeFi, we're very, very proud to know that DEXTools is part of our main supporters and most interesting and centric players who are helping us build this future of DeFi and connect CeFi, TradFi, and DeFi and one united decentralized protocol that enables peace and prosperity for all in such a unique manner. Then I believe that DeFi is just seeing its first real steps into the real world, and we're really looking forward to be one of the main protocols and players who will help onboard at least the next 1 billion participants in DeFi. Future is definitely green.
Amazing. I mean, you've shared so much information. I want to thank you for making some time for us on this AMA and for everybody watching. Thank you, Tomar.
Pleasure is all mine.
Look forward to seeing what Kima is going to achieve and glad to have you guys on board with us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.